Okay, there's gonna be huge spoilers in this video for Season 4, Episode 7 of Mr. Robot, so please take that in mind. Wow. This episode of Mr. Robot came with a lot of theatricals. I'm talking the 5-act structure, the aspect ratio, the constant thunder and lightning. Even Mac Quayle's usual synth electronic soundtrack is replaced by... All that artificiality though is there to build up one of the darkest reveals of the entire show. Just exactly what happened during Elliot's, we'll call it, window incident. His childhood trauma that has haunted him till this day. Since the beginning of Mr. Robot, we have been hearing about this window incident through Elliot.
We were close, very close. He was my best friend. He had leukemia. Made me swear to never tell anyone. Finally, I got so worried. Told my mom. When he found out, he got pissed. I remember I tried to hug him, tell him I'm sorry, and kept shoving me away. Shoved me so hard, I fell backwards out the window.
Elliot, of course, being an unreliable narrator. On Season 3, during a session with Krista, he recalls how he and Darlene were building a snowman before the incident.
That was the day of my accident, when my dad pushed me out the window. We were at the hospital till pretty late.
Your dad pushed you out a window?
Yeah. I've told you that before.
Elliot, you've never told me this.
It's weird. I remember... I could have sworn I told you. There's not much to it. Pushed me out the window, broke my arm, went to the hospital. Kevin melted. Darlene was pissed. End of story.
At night, in the same episode, this happens.
You remember when we made Kevin McAllister, the snowman?
Of course. Do you want to talk about it?
We don't hear from this again until Season 3's finale, when Darlene asks him what was that about.
That was the day Dad pushed me out the window.
And this time we got another version from another unreliable point of view, Darlene's side of the story.
Trust me, I remember. You took your baseball bat and you smashed the window, and then you kept telling Dad you were gonna jump. Elliot, you weren't pushed. You jumped.
Now, during this week's episode, Vera forces a session, and we hear Krista's notes on the entire thing. Krista believes that, since most of Elliot's memory lapses can be attributed to Mr. Robot, maybe it was him that took over during that window incident. Maybe that's why Elliot doesn't remember much of that incident.
Do you think it's possible Mr. Robot is the reason why you can't remember?
What you talking about? You didn't exist when I was a kid. Did you?
Since he shows up to protect Elliot, and we have seen this before in this episode for instance, he gets cornered by white supremacists and Mr. Robot takes all the punches. And since this episode hints of Mr. Robot being around at that time when he was a kid, why did Mr. Robot would show up at this moment? Why did Elliot need protection back then? We eventually find out why when Krista asks,
Elliot, did your father sexually molest you?
And the revelation hits hard.
Yes.
This puts everything in perspective. Elliot's entire plan to take down E-Corp comes from the death of his father. His dad and Angela's mom used to work for them. They both got leukemia and passed away. During the run of the show, we realized that the real villain behind it all is not Price or E-Corp, but it's actually White Rose and his Dark Army. Still, the spark of it all was the death of his father, supposedly Elliot's best friend. And it was all a lie. He was a pedophile. Literally, the first person we see Elliot hack was a pedophile too. Like, deep down he has a good reason to hate them. It's crazy. And I've been doing some intense Wikipedia research on DID, and apparently 90% of the people with multiple personality disorder comes from childhood traumas. So Elliot's case makes sense. Even the lack of childhood memories is explained, in Wikipedia at least. What's horrifying about this is the fact that his second personality, his protective side, takes the form of the aggressor. You know, Elliot's dad. If Mr. Robot has been around since forever, and he's the one that showed up every time Elliot was getting abused, it would explain Mr. Robot's aggressiveness and his destructive side. And because of Mr. Robot's presence, therefore memory lapses, Elliot still remembers his dad as a good guy, who got played by bigger players and didn't do anything about it. What is going to happen between these two? Mr. Robot said,
I can't protect you anymore.
So is he gone for good? Oh man, and I thought last episode was heartbreaking. Even though Vera is dead, he got what he wanted. He broke Elliot. And all of us watching at home. There is some hope though. Vera, as high on meth and crazy as he was, said something that was right.
Because once you've weathered a storm like yours, you become the storm.
Hopefully, and I'm praying here, he'll be unstoppable after this. But I don't know. And the worst part of this is that he will not have the time to sit down and think of all of this. The Deus group meeting is that very same night. He's been awake for more than a day now, right? Like, he went from Tyrell's night date in the woods, to super hack in the morning, to dealing with Olivia after lunch, to now finding out about his own darkest secret at knife point by the very same man that killed his girlfriend. And now he's gonna pull the hack of the century, robbing the 1% of the 1% in one swoop that very same night. Will he pull it off? Will Elliot finally talk to us after all this time? I'll let you know in the next video. Man, well, thanks for subscribing and liking this video. Let me know what you guys think as always. Thanks for watching. Wow, what a fucking episode. Holy shit.
I wish I could have been a better father to you. All I'm asking is that you forgive me. You think you'll ever be able to do that?
No.